Okay, welcome in. Going to be catching up on some hockey, as per always, between Saturday, March 22nd, and Sunday, March 23rd. It is technically Monday, March 24th right now, so I figured I might as well get some reviews done for hockey and get up to date with the standings. A number of games on Saturday. We had 4, 8, 12, 14 games. Wow, it's a lot of games. All right, so the first one, as always, is going to be Montreal because they're the team that I pinned. They played host to the Colorado Avalanche. I'm not going to lie, I watched this, and early in the game, it was ugly, but then it got interesting in the end. In the first period, Sam Malinsky would open up the scoring for the Avalanche, getting his third goal of the season, assisted by Kiviranta and Ross Colton, 7:35 of the opening frame. Ryan Lindgren would increase the lead to 2-0, 10:09 of the first, getting his fourth of the year from Brock Nelson and Terry Lehkonen. God, I miss Lehkonen. such a good player for us, too. Martin Necas would increase the lead to 3-0, 5:24 of the second period, getting his 24th goal of the season on the power play from Jonathan Drouin and Valery Nichushkin. And it was a bang-bang play, too. And due to copyright reasons, I won't be able to show any more highlights unless I can edit it really fast. But it's tough. Anyways, Uri Slavkovsky would finally get Montreal on the board. Not too long after that, getting his 15th of the year from Jaden Struble, and Nick Suzuki, 5:51 of the second. 3:58 of the third, Brock Nelson increased the lead to 4-1, getting his 23rd goal of the year from Devin Tays, 3:58 of the third, and at that point I'm thinking this game's probably over, right? Joshua Waugh would score 9:24 of the third, cutting the lead to 4-2, getting his second goal of the game, his assisted by Newhook and Patrick Laine. Uri Slavkovsky would get his second goal of the game, 9:54 of the third, so not too long after that, getting his 16th of the year from Alex Carrier, and that would cut the lead to 4-3. Christian Dvorak would complete the comeback and tie, at least, getting his ninth goal of the year from Brendan Gallagher, 13:32 of the third. This was an exciting game to the end. Overtime was pretty intense. This would have to go to a shootout, and big surprise, the guy who gave the Avalanche a 4-1 lead would end up getting the shootout winner. And yeah, it was an exciting game to say the least. 5-4 would be the final score. Next game took place in New York as we had the Rangers playing host to the Vancouver Canucks. This is a must-win for both these teams. Both these teams are still fighting for a playoff spot. Dakota Joshua would kick things off for Vancouver in the first, getting his fifth goal of the season, assisted by Quinn Hughes and Aman, 11:51 of the first. Adam Fox would tie the game up 11:03 of the second, getting his sixth goal of the season from Schneider and Othman. Johnny Brodzinski would break the tie, 1:39 of the third, getting his eighth goal of the year from JT Miller and Alex Lafreniere. Drew O'Connor would tie the game up at 2, 11:22 of the third, getting his 10th goal of the season from Amon and Mancini. Keandre Miller would break the tie, 12 minutes and 40 seconds of the third, getting his sixth goal of the season from Trocheck and Will Borgen. Brock Besser would tie the game up, 15:10 of the third. So a lot of goals happened in the third period, to say the least, getting his 23rd goal of the year from Jake DeBrusk. Johnny Brodzinski would score not too long after that, getting his second goal of the game, his ninth of the season from Lafreniere and Cody Soucy. And then JT Miller would add an empty net goal, assist by Adam Fox with 17 seconds to go, giving them a 5-3 lead, and kind of fitting how he scored against his former team. So yeah, the Rangers would win this high-scoring game 5-3. Dallas played host to the Philadelphia Flyers. In the first, Thomas Harley would open up the scoring for the Stars, getting his 14th of the year from Colin Blackwell and Sam Steele, 6:27 of the first. Essa Lindell would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his fifth goal of the year from Granlund and Matt Duchene, 8:59 of the first. Travis Konechny would finally get Philly on the board, 13:03 of the third, getting his 23rd goal of the year from Sean Couturier and Cam York. Ryan Poehling would tie the game up at 2, getting his seventh goal of the season from Michkov and Forster, and that goal happened with 1 minute and 12 seconds of the second. There was no scoring in the third. We'd have to get a goal settled in the overtime frame, And big surprise, Thomas Harley, who opened up the scoring for the Dallas Stars, would get the game-winning goal. His second goal of the game is 15th of the season from Jason Robertson, just 9 seconds in the overtime frame. All right, now we're off to Minnesota as the Wild played host to the Buffalo Sabres. There was no scoring in the first. We had to go ahead to the second period where Marco Rossi would get his 22nd goal of the year from Trenton and Hinostroza. I think I'd get that name right by now. Just 56 seconds of the second period. Justin Brazeau, since joining Minnesota, would score his 11th goal of the year from Gauntz and Boldy, 5:07 of the second. Matt Zuccarello would increase the lead to 3-0, getting his 17th goal of the year from Boldy and Bogosian, 8:11 of the second. JJ Peterka would finally get Buffalo on the board not late, 6 minutes and 48 seconds of the third, getting his 21st goal of the year from Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin. The Sabres were down by 2 goals, and unfortunately they were not able to tie it as Frederick Gaudreau would get the empty net goal, his 16th of the year from Zuccarello and Broden, and that goal happened with 33 seconds to go in the contest, so 4-1 would be the final score. All right, went from 4-1 game to another 4-1 game. So the St. Louis Blues, they're getting hot at the right time, and I'm pretty sure they're in a wild card spot, if I'm not mistaken, but I will check the standings once I'm caught up on Sunday's games. They played host to the Chicago Blackhawks. Rob Thomas would score in the second with just under 5 minutes to go, getting his 18th goal of the year from Dylan Holloway and Jordan Kyrou. Alexei Torpachenko would increase the lead to 2-0 with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the second period, getting his 4th goal of the season from Radek Faksa and Nate Walker. Ilya Mikheyev would get a shorthanded goal for Chicago, putting them on the board with 54 seconds to go in the second, cutting the lead to 2-1. And from Mikheyev, that'd be his 16th goal of the season. Nathan Walker would strike early in the third, 1 minute and 12 seconds to be exact, getting his 8th goal of the season, assisted by Torpachenko and Justin Falk. Zach Bolduc would increase the lead to 4-0, 7 minutes and 43 seconds of the third, getting his 14th goal of the season from Broberg and Braden Shen, and that's where he'd stand at the end of this contest. All right, now we're off to Long Island, where we have the New York Islanders, quite fitting for a name, playing host to the Calgary Flames. Matt Coronado would score 36 seconds into the first, getting his 19th goal of the season from Jonathan Huberdeau, giving the Flames early 1-0 lead. Bo Horvat would tie the game up just over halfway through the period, getting his 24th goal of the season from D'Angelo and Holmstrom, 10:46 to be exact. Mark Gatcomb would increase the lead to would give the Islanders a 2-1 lead with 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go, getting his 5th goal of the season, assisted by Siplikov and Dobson. Matt Coronado, I believe, would get his 2nd goal of the game, his 20th of the season from Hugo and Rasmus Anderson, 6:03 of the second period, tying the game up at 2. There was no scoring the rest of the second. There was no scoring in the third. Therefore, we would need overtime to settle this one. And Kyle McLean would come away with the game-winning goal, assisted by Siplikov and Dobson. And it was settled in the third period, not overtime. That's my bad. It would be settled in overtime, but that wasn't the game-winning goal. So Kyle McLean would give the Islanders, a 3-2 lead late in the third, getting his 4th of the season from Siplikov and Dobson. Jonathan Huberdeau would tie the game up with 2 minutes and 22 seconds to go, so not too long after McLean scored, but roughly 30 seconds after. Huberdeau would tie the game up, getting his 27th of the year from Anderson and Kevin Ball. And then Nazem Kadri would complete the comeback for the Flames. There we go. The Flames got the game-winning goal, his 26th of the season from Rasmus Anderson. And that goal happened with 1 minute and 7 seconds to go in the overtime frame. So the Flames won, not the Islanders. That's on me. Wow, this is like a football score. 7-2 between the Kings and the Hurricanes. Adrian Kempe would kick things off, getting his 29th goal of the season from Hellenius, I believe, and Gianot, 3:03 of the first. Anze Kopitar would give the Kings a 2-0 lead, 14:39 of the first, getting his 17th goal of the season on the power play from Kuzmenko and Drew Doughty. Andrei Kuzmenko would increase the lead to 3-0 with 5 seconds remaining in the first, getting his 7th of the season from Kopitar. So the Kings had a 3-0 lead heading into the second. Trevor Moore would increase the lead to 4-0, getting his 15th of the season from Philippe Deneau and Warren Foegele, 5:58 of the second. Tanner Janot would increase the lead to 5-0. They just poured it on, getting his 6th of the year from Turcotte and Drew Doughty, 6:49 of the second period. Quinton Byfield would score 8:41 of the second, increasing the lead to 6-0, getting his 18th of the year, assisted by Kevin Fiala. Dmitry Orlov would finally stop the bleeding, getting the Hurricanes their first goal of the game, his 5th of the season from Chatfield and Stankoven. And that goal happened with 5 minutes and 43 seconds to go in the second period. Kevin Fiala would strike, getting his 26th of the year, assisted by Lafayette and Byfield. And that goal happened with 1 minute and 57 seconds to go in the third, increasing the lead to 7-1. And Mark Jankowski would finally get the Hurricanes their second goal of the game, at least. His 9th of the year from Robinson and Morrow. And that goal happened with 1 minute, 49 seconds to go in the game. So, yeah, 7-2. It was a blowout, to say the least. And against the Hurricanes, too. Like, they're a pretty good team. One little side note before I continue. These Kings are for real. Like, it's not like the Kings from 3 years ago when they got bounced in the first round by the Oilers. Like, if they play Edmonton again this year, they could win. And if for some crazy reason Edmonton takes first place and Vegas drops down to second, which I highly doubt that's going to happen, they could push Vegas to like 7 games too. Like, I don't think this Kings team, I think they're just sick and tired of being like first round exits. So they're going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs. I'm not going to lie. All right, a battle of 2 teams in first place, as we had the Washington Capitals playing host to the Florida Panthers. Connor McMichael would score, opening up the scoring. Wow. Connor McMichael would open up the scoring, getting his 25th of the year from Tom Wilson, 3 minutes and 15 seconds of the first period. For McMichael, that'd be his 25th of the year. Sam Bennett will get his 23rd of the season, tying the game up at 1, getting assisted by Sam Skovich and Forsling, 6:35 of the first period. John Carlson will get his 5th goal of the year from McMichael and Pierre-Luc Dubois, 12:24 of the first period. Seth Jones would tie the game up at 2, getting his 8th of the year from Sam Bennett and Evan Rodriguez, and that goal happened with just over 6 minutes to go in the first. With just over 5 minutes to go, Anthony Baviglia would break the tie, getting his 15th of the season from Rasmus Sandin and Trevor Van Riemsdyk. But the scoring wasn't done there. The Florida Panthers would tie the game up at 3, courtesy of Gadjovich, who got his 4th of the season, assisted by Nico Sturm. So I'm pretty sure it was tied at 3 after 1. There we go. But just 7 seconds into the second, Tom Wilson would break the tie, getting his 31st of the season from Matt Roy and Verheervary. Dylan Strome would increase the lead to 5-3, just 59 seconds of the second. So they had 2 goals in the first minute, increasing the lead to 5-3. For Strome, that'd be his 23rd goal of the year from Ovechkin and Protus. Andrew Mangiapane would increase the lead to 6-3, 5:57 of the second period, getting his 13th of the season from Ovechkin and Verheervary. Thankfully, there was no scoring for the rest of the second or third. I mean, I'm sure fans would have preferred to have more goals in the third, but having 9 goals in the first 40 minutes, that's pretty wild. But yeah, the Capitals would double up on the Panthers, and I don't think that they're going to be a one-and-done team like they have been in the past 4 or 5 seasons. I think that the Capitals could possibly advance to like the Final Four the way they're playing. All right, the Utah Hockey Club played host to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Josh Stone would open up the scoring for the Utah Hockey Club, getting his 5th goal of the season from McBain and Logan Krause, 6 minutes and 42 seconds of the first. Logan Cooley would score with 2 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the first, getting his 20th goal of the season from Keserling and Nick Schmaltz. Braden Point would get the Lightning on the board with 1 minute and 11 seconds remaining on a power play, getting his 33rd of the season from Jake Gensel and Bjorkstrand. Anthony Cirelli would tie the game up at 2, 5:22 of the second, getting his 24th goal of the season from Brandon Hagel and Nikita Kucherov. Alexander Kerfoot would break the tie, 5:58 of the second, getting his 9th of the season from Stenman and John Marino, I do believe, getting the Utah Hockey Club a 3-2 lead. Jake Gensel would tie the game up at 3, 17:23 of the second, getting his 34th goal of the season from Parabix and Yanni Gord. With 2 minutes and 7 seconds to go, Logan Cooley would break the tie, getting his 21st goal of the season from Marino and Schmaltz. So I'm pretty sure the Utah Hockey Club had a 4-3 lead heading into the third. They did. So Nick Schmaltz would increase the lead to 5-3, getting his 17th of the season from Logan Cooley and Captain Clayton Keller. I love saying that. That's so fun. 1:10 of the third. Braden Point would cut the lead to 5-4, getting his 34th goal of the season from Ryan McDonough and Jake Gensel, 2:54 of the third period. And then late in the third, the Lightning were on the power play. They pulled their goalie, so it was basically a 6-on-4. Alex Kerfoot would increase the lead to 6-4, assisted by Ian Cole. That would be his 10th goal of the season, so it was a shorthanded goal and an empty net goal with 57 seconds remaining, and that's where we'd stand at the end of regulation, so 10 goals, 6-4 for Utah. All right, now we're off to New Jersey, as we have one team that's kind of reeling and one team that's red hot. And before this game even started, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised even if Ottawa was away, if they came away with the victory. And you can see the score right there. So there's no scoring in the first. Brady Tkachuk would open up the scoring in the second, getting his 28th goal of the season from Josh Anderson and Tim Stützle. Drake Batherson would increase the lead to 2-0, 4:38 of the second, getting his 20th goal of the year from Dylan Cousins and Travis Hamonic. Nico Hischier would get a power play goal, getting his 30th of the season, cutting the lead to 2-1, assisted by Bratt and Luke Hughes. David Perron would increase the lead to 3-1, getting a power play goal of his own, his 6th of the season from Claude Giroux and Ridley Gregg, I do believe. Eric Holla would cut the lead to 3-2 with 24 seconds to go in the game, getting his 8th of the season from Luke Hughes and Cody Glass. But unfortunately, they left very little to no time on the clock to tie the game up, so the Sens would win 3-2. All right, the Nashville Predators played host to the Toronto Maple Leafs. One team is absolutely spit the bed, if I want to be PG about it, and the other team is competing for first place in their respective division. I'll let you guess who. John Tavares would open up the scoring for the Leafs, getting his 30th goal of the season on the power play from Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, 9:16 of the first period. Speaking of Mitch Marner, he'd get on the goal scorer sheet with just under 7 minutes to go, getting his 22nd goal of the season from Austin Matthews. Michael Bunting, playing against one of his 3 or 4 favorite or former teams. He's been traded a lot within the last season or two. Getting his 15th of the season on the power play from Svechkov and Evangelista, 1:39 of the second. Kiefer Bellows would tie the game up at 2, getting his 2nd goal of the season from Cole Smith and Svechkov, 9:15 of the second. Forsberg would get his 26th goal of the season with 47 seconds remaining in the second, breaking the tie, getting his 26th goal of the season from Evangelista and Blankenberg. In the third, Luke Evangelista. This guy's been on the every assist. He figured he might as well get a goal too. Would get his 7th goal of the season from Philip Forsberg, 10:17 of the third. And then late in the third, Toronto was down by 2. Philip Forsberg would get his 2nd goal of the game, his 27th of the season, an empty netter from Stastny and McCarron. And that goal happened with 37 seconds to go in the game. So the Nashville Predators would upset the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-2. Holy, there's a lot of games. I heard the Vegas Golden Knights played host to the Detroit Red Wings. Lucas Raymond would open up the scoring for the Red Wings in the first, getting his 24th goal of the year on the power play from Dylan Larkin and Patrick Kane, 4 minutes and 47 seconds of the first. Thomas Hertl would tie the game up at 1, getting a power play goal, his 28th of the season from Mark Stone and Jack Eichel, 11:47 of the first period. He would strike again with just over 3 minutes to go in the first, giving the Vegas Golden Knights a 2-1 lead, his 29th of the season from Brandon McNabb and Korchak. With 3 seconds to go in the first, this was like a backbreaker here. Nick Waugh would score, getting his 10th of the season from Barbashev and Jack Eichel. So the Golden Knights had a 3-1 lead heading into this second period. Patrick Kane would score, cutting the lead to 3-2, getting a power play goal, his 18th of the season from Sider and Larkin, 1:49 of the second period. Mark Stone would regain that 2-goal lead, getting his 18th of the season from Pietrangelo and Noah Hannafin, 7:07 of the second period. Thomas Hertl would get a hat trick, getting his 30th of the season on a power play from Mark Stone and Jack Eichel, increasing the Vegas Golden Knights lead to 5-2. Alex DeBrincat would cut the lead to 5-3, getting his 32nd goal of the season from Patrick Kane and Edmondson, 9:36 of the third period. And then Detroit pulled their goalie with over 2 minutes to go. Jack Eichel would strike, getting his 22nd goal of the season, assisted by Barbashev. So 6-3 would be the final from Sin City. All right, so the Oilers were playing host to the Seattle Kraken. Now, one little note before that both McDavid and Draisaitl were out for this game for the Oilers due to injuries, and a lot of people were concerned if they didn't have their two best players on the team, how would they really fare? Well, they came away with a victory, but it sure wasn't that easy. Adam Henrique would open up the scoring in the first period on a power play from Ekholm and Darnell Nurse, 14:30 of the opening frame. Capo Caco would tie the game up not too long after that, getting a power play goal of his own from Matty Beniers and Nyman, who believe got his first assist of the season. In the second period, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins would score, increasing the lead to 2-1, getting his 18th goal of the year from Kapanen and Darnell Nurse, 3:48 of the second period. Capo Caco wasn't done there, though. He tied the game up 1 of the second, getting his 13th goal of the season from Nyman, who had 2 assists thus far. Jeff Skinner would break the tie, 12:31 of the second, getting his 14th of the year from Connor Brown and Matthias Ekholm, giving the Oilers a 3-2 lead. Nugent-Hopkins would score with just under 2 minutes to go, getting his 18th of the season on the power play from Hyman and Evan Bouchard, so the Oilers had a 4-2 lead heading into the third. Andre Burakovsky would cut the lead to 4-3, getting his 7th goal of the season from McCann, 5:57 of the third. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins would score a late empty net goal, getting a hat trick, I do believe, in the process, assisted by Wallman, and that goal happened with 2 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the third. Jaden Schwartz would score on that same power play, cutting the lead to 5-4, getting his 20th goal of the season from McGann and Vince Dunn. Unfortunately, the Kraken were not able to tie the game up, but yeah, it was an intense game all the way to the end. Like this was going to be a one-sided affair. At one point, it was 4-2. Everyone thought this game was over, and then the Kraken fought back. All right, now the last game from Saturday, as I'm entering my 23-minute mark video, part of the video. We'll see how many games are on Sunday. I may have to do just 2 videos. We'll see. But yeah, the last game from Saturday took place between the San Jose Sharks and the Boston Bruins. William Ekblad would open up the scoring in the second period for the Sharks, getting his 16th goal of the season from Celebrini and Cagnoni. There we go. Casey Middlestad would score, getting his 13th of the season from Koepke with 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the second, tying the game up at 1. Lucas Carlson would score late in the third period with 3 minutes and 23 seconds to go, getting his first goal of the season from Will Smith and Celebrini. Boston was down 2-1. They would pull their goalie. Unfortunately, they were not able to tie it up, as Barclay Goodrow would get the empty net goal, his 5th of the season from Ekblad and Carlson. And that goal happened with 50 seconds to go in the third period. So a huge 3-1 victory for the San Jose Sharks. Now I'll take a look at Sunday, and we'll see how many games took place on there. So I have 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm already at my 24-minute mark, so I better cut this off right now. So I will do a separate video for Sunday, and after I'm done my Sunday videos, then I'll do my, we'll take a look at the standings after that. Anyways, until next time, and as always, take care.